Electricity has become a touching issue in Nigeria. Since subsidies were removed from electricity, everyone right now have become crying foul about how hard it is that they are pulling out monies to pay for electricity. It's become difficult. Some families say that the amount of monies they usually use for electricity, say 5,000, 10,000 naira in a month, has now skyrocketed to over 50,000 naira. One would wonder really to what extent can this be sustained vis-a-vis the fact that the government have said electricity isn't cheap. We have someone in the studio who would throw more light on electricity consumption and as it affects every single family and household in Nigeria. It's Engineer Chinwe Kene Joseph Eze. He is the CEO of High Choice Investments Limited. Good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning, Noah.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, viewers.
I mean, it's a common thought and practice and discussions around tables and households how electricity have skyrocketed in the past year. How are you reacting to this development?
It is really very, very, very hard. It's biting hard in every home today. Like, yeah, I can use my own home as an example. Before now, I used to, recharge because I'm on, I used to recharge 5,000, 5,000 per month. But now, even 20,000 is not enough for me and my small family. Yes, wow. In a month. So it's biting very hard on everybody.
But again, the electricity, regulatory agencies have said, look, electricity is not cheap. And across countries where, you have constant power, if you look at the amount that they pay, it's actually very high. That's 5,000 naira is not enough for, that amount of family and or whatnot. Don't you think that how expensive electricity is would bring to development in that sector, so much so that we can have this electricity constant and things can actually move on properly?
Come with your questions.
I was saying that time and time again, we've seen the Minister for Power say that electricity is not cheap, that it is only when Nigerians start paying for what the cost of electricity should be, that is when that infrastructure would be perfect. Because everyone have said that we would need more than 50,000 megawatts, in order for the country to be sustained. But over time, we haven't been able to even pass beyond. We haven't been able to pass, past 5,000 megawatts production level. Do you think that making it expensive would make it available?
Yes, making it expensive will make it available, but it's all about leadership. You understand? Because if you can watch now, fuel subsidy, they removed it. As soon as this administration came into the saddle, they say fuel subsidy removed. And up to this moment, I have not seen the impacts in our individual life. Instead, we are suffering. Nigerians are suffering. Why I say leadership is that let's assume that they remove subsidy in electricity and utilize that profit they'll be making from it. I believe it will create a positive impact in our individual home. And even in that sector, the sector will be sustained, you understand, over time. But the problem is that they will remove that subsidy and it will go into private pockets. They will not use it to develop that particular sector. Let's assume the leadership of this country is in order. I think paying for what you consume will enhance the development of that sector. But in a situation whereby the leaders are not doing the needful, I don't think it's better they pay the subsidy for us and let us at least enjoy the electricity without suffering.
So you want them to subsidize the electricity
yes,
back again?
Exactly.
But don't you think these things, you talked about leadership problem, but don't you see the consumption problem too? Yeah, because households, some households have high consuming appliances. And then the amount of electricity, the number of megawatts exhibits or they use on a daily basis keep increasing. If they subsidize it, it means individuals will not be able to pay exactly what they consume.
Okay. The thing there is that it's all about management of electricity consumption. If you know, electricity consumption is all about kilowatts per hour. Measurement of it's being measured by kilowatts per hour. Kilowatts is the energy rating, while the hour is the time, the length of time spent in being in use of that appliances. But there is a way we can always manage it. If we can, if me and you can subscribe into energy efficient appliances like light emitting diodes, that is LED bulbs, standard one like A16, understand, and the weather friendly bulbs, weather resistance bulbs. I think it will reduce costs. It will reduce kilowatts.
Okay.
You understand? If me and you can always know that when in the daytime you use daylight, don't on your bulbs. You understand? It will reduce costs of kilowatts. If you can use refrigerators that have less energy efficiency, it will also help. You understand? So because the problem we had is sometimes somebody will on his light for the whole day without making use of it. Some people will on the electric iron, without making use of it. If you can reduce the usage, as in like now the refrigerator is frozen, everything in the refrigerator is frozen, then you off it. You off it. I believe it will help to reduce costs and management of consumption, energy consumption.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions on my head, and I'm trying to see if I can coin it, out properly. In South Africa is approximately 60 million people, and they generate around 50,000 megawatts of electricity for their population. We are over 200 million people, and we still are reeling around 3,000 and 6,000 megawatts of electricity. It goes back and forth. So today you hear 3,000, so next morning you hear 4,000 megawatts of electricity. What exactly do you think that Nigeria should do to be able to generate more electricity in order for it to, be enough for people to cut across? Because we can't continue like this. I've been hearing 4,000 megawatts almost 20 years of my life, and there's no time we've ever pushed further into 7,000 or 8,000. Even with promises of successive governments saying that they're going to improve electricity, we still have that problem. We have been hearing grid collapse every now and then. In the last seven days or 14 days, you will hear that consistently. Why haven't we been able to jump across this 4,000 megawatt of electricity over the years?
Well, that is leadership issue. When I say leadership issue, me and you know that government, several previous administrations have mapped out a lot of money during the budgets into power. You understand? They will come in the air and say they have budgeted billions of dollars, billions of naira into power. They will even give time frame that in 1 month, in 6 months time, or the end of the year, we'll get up to 10,000 megawatts in usage for Nigerians. But at the end of the day, you see that there is not there, nothing to show about it. So what I believe is that if we get it right, and try as much as possible to have a strong institution in this country, all these things will be a story for the gods. Because when the leaders are not doing the needful, the resources is there. But who is the manager? Who are those managing the resources? Do we have right people on the saddle to manage our resources? Because to generate power, we have all it takes to generate power in this country. It's all about management. It's all about leadership. We don't have leadership, true leadership in this country.
There's a part which is the GENCOs, the generating companies. As these grid collapses were happening, one of the news items that we came across was that the GENCOs say that they generate enough, but that the distribution companies don't distribute it, don't come and buy it out, because the distribution company is also complaining that they can't buy so much, and they're now able to sell it for profit because they're also business.
Yes.
And that is also part of the reasons why we've had grid collapse. Do you agree?
I don't really agree. Why I don't really agree is that if you say you have up to 10,000 megawatts, we'll see it. The GENCO say they generate enough. The distribution company say, I don't know whether they agree that they generate enough. They can't buy more than they can sell. So, which means we have more than 10,000 megawatts in our national grid. If the GENCOs are claiming that they generate enough, but the problem is that distribution companies are not doing the needful. So, we have to check these two particular departments, whether if what the GENCOs are saying is it true, or whether what if the distribution companies are claiming is true. Because if they are generating enough, and we are over 200 million people in this country, and South Africa, as you said, is over 50 million people, and they generate
more than 45,000.
More than 45. They generate up to 50,000 megawatts, and they are not getting this type of complaints. Like the distribution company there is not saying that the consumers are not coming up to buy. So what I see in all this is leadership failure. It's leadership failure. If Mr. President will come out today and say, see, these people, come, I want to hear from both of you. I want to know what is going on. Tell us what is happening, what is going on. I believe all these things will be over. But the problem we have is that we don't have leaders that have that political will to drive those sectors to come alive. So that is the way, my own observation, and what I think that is hitting us bad, hitting this country bad. Because in a country where there is no power, what are we producing? The production will be very, very less. And I don't think we are going nowhere with all this type of style. The style of leadership in this country is not promising at all.
You are an engineer, electrical engineer. Do you think there is a role, or there are roles engineers should play in modifying or helping to reduce electricity wastages?
Yes, there is a very big role. But the problem we have in this country is this. Somebody will win an election as a president while selecting executives like ministers. You now use a barrister, a lawyer, and make him minister for power. And use an engineer and make him minister for environment. I don't know. So there is no square peg, a square hole. They don't consider all those things. Let's assume like when Minister Pat Naj was the minister for power, he did a lot of things. He did a lot of things in that sector, which is what we are still enjoying up to today. I don't think whether there have been any improvement in that sector since that time till now. So what I mean, engineers can do things, but the leaders, the political leaders, have to engage them. They have to engage them. It's not when you are an engineer, you're an electrical engineer, and you see a lawyer, you understand, giving directives, heading that particular sector that you are supposed to be, giving you order. Even when you are trying to tell him, see what you are supposed to do, they will be seeing it as if I'm the chief, I'm the guy here. So there is a lot of issues in Nigeria. If we get leadership right in this country, every other things will fall in place. I believe it seriously. But the problem we have today is that our leaders, they don't have vision. They are not even prepared. Let's see what is happening in Enugu State today. Our governor today is prepared. Well prepared. He has the blueprints. what is playing out in Enugu State is his script. He has a team, a very powerful team working for him. So let's assume in the federal that because this power of a thing is an exclusive list, let's assume that in federal we have somebody like this Mba there working. Gentlemen, believe me, in question of 2-3 years, we'll get the issue of power solved.
You made mention of the Enugu. Do you think the EEDC and ERC and all the regulatory bodies in the Enugu, they are doing much more than they should do in terms of the electricity distribution and management in Enugu State right now?
Yes, initially, the ERC just came on board. I think it's in January that they will take over from ADC. You understand? So, and I believe that there is going to be serious improvement in that sector. Once ERC, Electricity and Regulatory Commission, to take over from ADC, you will see a drastic change.
Well, some persons have also said that they fear that when there is a government agency that is running, especially when it is a state government agency that is running electricity, it might get worse, given what we've seen with how government companies run or government organizations run. It's not running optimally. If you go around town and go walk into any government parastatal, you hardly see them resume at 8:30 or at 9 o'clock, the statutory time that they're supposed to resume. Go to local governments that is under the government, you see the same thing. Some people have said that, look, this may not be right. Maybe you could have flashes of experience and goodwill by few persons who have made some moves, like you mentioned, the governor of Enugu State, and maybe 1 or 2 other states that have, delved into that space. One would wonder, really, I mean, don't you fear that, since it's under the government, that we might have some epileptic way and manner that our electricity might be distributed?
Yeah, your fear is not bad. But I'm assuring you that the type of leadership that is in place in Enugu State, from January, if EDC hand over to ARC, there will be positive change. What matters is the leader. What matters is the leader. In as much as this governor I'm seeing today is on the saddle, he's a visionary leader. He will not have seen those things. He will not, and he's a technocrat. He has been in the private sector, and he knows how all these things runs. He has been in government before now, and he's in government now. It's true that government parastatals normally doesn't survive. You understand? Because of the management. But believe me that with this type of governor we have today, that ERC will perform wonder, and other states will emulate Enugu State in that area, because I know, as you can see, the governor we have today is a workaholic. He's a performer. As you can see, everything is on. So I know that government parastatals sometimes we do have epileptic movement and whatever, but this particular government is a very there's a very serious government that will deliver on that area. Like that ERC, no, they will not let us down. I believe so.
Okay, but with the rising energy costs, how can the energy sector develop affordable solutions to energy or for consumers?
Well, it's generation. It's generation. It's all about generation. I believe we have we have water, we have coal in Enugu State. If put in use, if investors, because a lot of investors are visiting Enugu as we speak, and there are some of them that have interest in coal, in using coal to generate electricity. And I believe that if this government is highly interested in investors, You understand? If they allow them to come here and invest in coal, let me tell you, they will generate, there will be, in fact, Enugu will be independent of national grid. Because I believe with coal here, we'll generate a lot of power, energy here, if really put in use, and a very serious investors come and take over the sector. So I believe.
But see, Dan, what other strategies would you suggest for households who are aiming to, be independent of national grid?
Okay, we have what they call renewable energy, like a solar panel system. Even though in the beginning before you install a very strong power solar energy, it will cost you, it's capital intensive, but over time it will pay off. But the problem, do you have money to install a renewable energy like solar energy? That is just another alternative, so that you use it for small businesses and smaller appliances. You understand? So it's another way of.
Does it come in different? It comes in different sizes. Right?
Yes, different sizes. It's battery. It's a rechargeable battery. You understand? So if you want to have the one that you take all the appliances in your house, you have to invest more. Like if it's 3 battery that will get you lighting like this, you now add it like 4, 5. You understand? So that you're able to carry other appliances in the house. You understand? So that is just the renewable energy is another source of, getting energy and,
But then how long do you think that can be sustained? Some people say that over time, like you mentioned, it can be for the meantime let you be in terms of expenses for electricity. Well, some other persons also think that after 1 year, 2 years, the battery tends to start dying. It's not as strong as it used to be, and then they are forced to revert back to, the status quo.
Okay, the thing, just as I said, that it depends on how viable you are, how deep your pocket is. Because if you have enough money, you get enough battery. Like, let's assume that some use 1 battery. You understand? But if you have money, get like 25 voltage battery, like let's say like 10, 15. And also be mindful of all these energy efficient appliances like LEDs. If you see the one advantage of using LED bulbs is that it have a very long life span. Like LED bulbs have up to 50,000 hours. Why the other bulb the other normal bulb we use have just 1,000. Can't you see that it saves like 90% energy less?
Yeah.
So it depends on the appliances you are using. If you are mindful of the appliance you are using on that particular in a renewable energy, it will last longer.
But then you wonder how many Nigerian homes can afford this amount. You said you need deep buckets.
Yes.
And Nigerian homes, we know that minimum wage is 70,000 naira. Most of them haven't even started paying the 70,000 naira. Yeah. So you are going to, at least with deep pocket that you are mentioning, I'm thinking that to get something that is sustainable, we are looking at 1.5 million, 2 million, maybe for a 4 battery, 8 panel inverter system in the house. Of course, you want to go for quality so that it could actually last you. So you would think that how many families can afford 1.5 million just for power over a space of say another 2 years?
Well, this one is economic somersault. It's an economic issue. Nigerians are suffering, going through a lot. That's why governments have to come in this area, because many homes cannot afford it. Many, like let's say like 80% of Nigerian homes cannot afford that renewable energy. But those that are maybe civil servants, they can take loan.
Loan?
Yes.
To do solar panel?
To do solar panel.
Like
if,
how much
if
loan?
if they really need it.
Like how much loan, for
Eh?
instance?
It depends on your budget. Depends on the
Like what, how much is an
design.
average, for instance? Is there an average of maybe say a 2-battery, 4-panel kind of system? How much do you think that would cost?
Well, like that 2 battery, it will not cost you less than 300,000 naira.
Just 2, but that's the only
For the
battery.
2
What about the
batteries?
panel and then the inverter itself?
The inverter, you have to budget like 1 million, 1.2.
For 2 batteries.
Yes. now.
Yes,
Yes.
Huge.
it's up to that.
It's up to that because it's not easy for us. And the problem we had is that the value of our naira is no more anything compared. Just imagine 1,716 a dollar, and all those things is not locally made. Like that panel is not locally made. So one is coming in here is coming in dollars. If you convert it, that is why you see it millions, millions. But normally, ordinarily, let's assume that our economy, our naira is in good shape. I don't think some will afford it. Anybody that is employed, any civil servants can afford it. But because we don't have our money don't have value. So we are suffering a lot of. That is why I say that the issue of all these things is leadership issue. It's leadership issue because let's assume that people in economy is doing their bit. Those in the other departments, they are doing their bits. Before you know it, all this is everything will fall in place, and Nigerians will start enjoying. We don't even need much. What annoys me is that these our leaders don't know. We don't need much to be okay in this country. What Nigerians are asking for is basic amenities. If you can provide them water, electricity, and those fuel, believe me, we don't have problem. But our leaders are our problem. We have serious problem in leadership. We have powerful individuals instead of having powerful institutions. See what happened in America a few days ago. They had presidential election in less than 12 hours. The result is out. But if it's in Nigeria, 1 week, 2 weeks, we have not seen anything. So
You said we have serious problems with the leadership, right? So, well, as a citizen, what do you suggest should be done to get things right at this moment?
Total overhauling in the system. Total overhauling. We have to get it right in leadership. We have to learn from Western world. We have to learn. Our leaders have to be teachable. We have to learn from Western world to see how it works for them. It can be applicable here. We have all it takes to sustain this country, to be okay. We are Australian giant of Africa. We have the numbers. We have the manpower. But it's not in use. Look at what is going on in our younger generation. The upcoming stars is now diverted into Yahoo, whatever. It's a very serious matter. Because our leaders have failed us. Let's assume that everything is enough, it's okay. Our people won't be talking about Yahoo, whatever. Nobody.
Right. So as it stands, you mentioned that right now you pay more than 20,000 naira for a monthly consumption of power. How have you managed, and what strategies for you would you suggest that other people can adopt in order to be able to manage their consumption? Because I hear that these days people on their deep freezer in the morning, off it in the afternoon, like leave it to run in the night. You know, there's this variations of even to watch TV, you have to watch in the afternoon and leave it in the morning, and watch in the evening and leave it, and you know, resort to online stuff. I'm just wondering, is that strategy what you have adopted? What have you adopted so that people can be helped in navigating this particular?
Okay, it is a two-way trafficator here. You reduce the load rating, the kilowatts, then you reduce the time, the hour.
What do you mean by reducing the load weight?
The load rating by going for lesser energy appliances.
But you've already bought it. Are you going to now go and sell it back and then bring it back
No.
again?
Maybe one you had is not a better one, or a less energy efficient appliances. You got so there you then like you are using a deep freezer to reduce R. You know, is to reduce consumption. You deal with two things. You reduce the kilowatts, that's the load rating. You reduce the R, the time. The appliance that is in use. Like you off your light while going out of your house. If what you put in your freezer is frozen, you off the freezer. Then you be mindful of the way you use air conditioner. There are another way. And washing machine, dryers. All these appliances is what consumes energy. Like no appliance. But once you are mindful of all these things, believe me, you won't be consuming more than, like, let's say in television, 10 to 20
units,
1,000 kilowatts in a month.
in a month. Mm.
Then like charging points, all these charging points, you won't be using more than 1 to 5 kilowatts in a month. Because then television, 10 to 20,000 kilowatts in a month. So, but our problem is that because sometimes we are not. This is why it's good. Yeah, it's good to go for a prepaid
meter
platform, so that you
know
that you are consuming your money. So because sometimes it will connect direct from the source. That's why the Gencos will generate and distribution companies will be shouting because they will buy, and it will record losses.
Yeah.
Record losses. A lot of people will connect and they are not paying for it. And you get to somebody's house in the afternoon, the bulb is on. And nobody is there. Even outside bulb is on. So we're not conscious of managing. So like in my house, if I'm going out now, I will go to children's bedroom. I go everywhere and see whether there is any bulb on. I'll off it. If the freezer is frozen, I'll off it. I'm also mindful of using my air conditioner. Because these are the things. And even washing machine. Sometimes I'll come and join washing so that we'll manage our light. I use my manual and wash. Leave the washing machine first. You understand? So that to be able to survive.
Right.
It's not easy.
Thank you so much, Engineer.
Bless you, sir.
Engineer Chinwekene Joseph Eze.
Yeah.
We truly appreciate your thoughts and insights on the show today.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's okay.
All right, we're headed for a short break. When we come back, we'll switch gears a little bit more for another discussion.